Hey everybody, and welcome to the Experience Pros training. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about your interviews, how to get the most out of your interviews, how to set up your interviews on the Experience Pros radio show, and how to leverage all of that in powerful ways. So I want to start off with letting you know that if at any point during this training you have any questions for us, please don't hesitate to drop me an email. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can drop it at eric@experiencepros.com, or you can ping me on Facebook. We monitor our Facebook during these trainings, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you've got. It doesn't have to be on topic. You can go wherever you want. If you've got a question for us, we've got an answer, or we'll make Adam come up with some kind of an answer for you.
That was nice.
That's it.
That was nice. All right, so on our YouTube and on our channel, we went through how to use all the benefits of the the membership directory, and went through at each level, green, red, gold, how to get involved, how to set up your interviews, all of that. And so that's a training that we did last month, and you've got that on your YouTube. And I sent it out in an email under the list of benefits. You always have that to go back to and review for how to get the most out of your membership. And of course, you can always call our office, and we'd be happy to sit down and chat with you and work it out with you and do some marketing and all of that. So, but today, our topic, we want to talk about, what was the title of it?
It's how to craft your Experience Pros interview.
How to craft an interview, your radio interview. We know that this is a piece that's holding a lot of you back, and we talk about one of the benefits of being a part of the Experience Pros Network is radio. You can be a part of any networking group and association. There's a lot of training, there's a lot of networking, a lot of workshops, community that's built in. But one of the benefits of being a part of this network is the fact that we are on the radio. You have access to major market media. You get to be an expert guest on the air. Come on in, have a seat. Now you're trapped in behind the thing.
Super well.
So you get to have major market media, but take advantage of it. You can sit anywhere, Lisa, you will not be in the way.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the radio interview. We had Pam Atherton. She's our media trainer. She actually came in and she's done 2 different workshops for our members. She travels up from New Mexico and did a great workshop last week, and so this is a little bit of a piggyback on that. We learned a lot of great stuff from her, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But we want to make sure we're helping you just feel really comfortable when you come into the studio, because it's not a one-time thing coming into the radio studio and doing your interview. It's not a one-off. It is actually a part of your bigger marketing campaign, and if you are strategic with the way that you use it, encouraging, you can actually have it be a part of a 13-week marketing campaign. So all the leading up to, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm talking about, this is what I'm going to be, the radio interview itself, marketing that piece, and then post-interview, what to do with that after. So you actually get a lot of bang for this $1.
Here are the points that everybody's going to learn in this quick training here. Where to fill out the online form for the interview request form. When is the best time of year to air your interview or interviews? How many questions should you supply? What kind of questions help the most? What kind of questions should you avoid? What to do leading up to your interview? How to leverage that interview across multiple platforms? How to use your interview to establish credibility? How to make money with your interview? And how to get invited to do more by television, radio, and print producers. So it's going to be a power-packed media training, if you will, and it'll be here for you. All of our trainings can be found on the Experience Pros YouTube channel, and if you click on the playlists, there's a playlist that talks about member training, and that's it. And so we put them all there, categorized under member training. So the first question is that we want to answer is, where do you fill out your interview request form? In order to get onto the air, you have to knock over the first domino, if you will. You need to contact us with your interview information. Tell us, there's a form online. And in order to get that going, we post in our private Facebook members group that link from time to time. In our email communications to you, there's a link that we draw to. And then moving forward, we're actually going to start a page on our website for members only that will give you all the details of where to go to sign up for that interview. The actual link is experiencepros.com/member interview. We tried to make it easy for you. So
but it's an important piece to actually know this, because if you go to our website and you just do request an interview, that's kind of our public forum.
Right.
And so there is a fee for that one. And so this is free and it's included in your membership. And so the link is experiencepros.com/member interview. If you have any questions, of course, we will send that out to you. You'll get that in email communication from us. We'll post that on our private Facebook group. We'll have it everywhere for you. It's just not an immediate link on our website. We get a lot of traffic on our website for guests to be on the show, and we want to have a special place just for members.
Yeah, I'm working on showing you the screen share. You can see it now if you're watching the video. This is where guests and guest experts would come to fill out an interview. This is not where members go. That radio show and the drop down request an interview comes with the request for some financial remuneration for that airtime. So just so you're aware, you can get that interview at experiencepros.com/member interview. Good.
Yeah, and then another piece we'll be adding, because we know we've been sending out a lot of emails and there's a lot of information in those, and it's kind of like communication overload. So we'll actually have all that information on a page just for members, so you can go and grab that anytime and you don't have to get so many emails from us. We're trying to be very sensitive about how we communicate and how much information we share, because we know
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot included, and so we're finding the best ways to communicate and get all that information out to you, because the last thing we want is for you to get 3, 4, 5 months in and go, I didn't know, I didn't have any idea. And so you get phone calls, you'll get emails, you'll get mail, you'll get cards in the mail, all sorts of stuff that we're trying to do to make sure we get you all the information.
All right, the next thing is, Angel, people ask us all the time, what's the best time of year to air my interview, or when should I air my interview? And the answer varies with your business. It varies with the number of interviews that you have purchased. If you've come in at the gold level, you get 3 of them. If you come in at the red level, you get 1. And so you want to be strategic with it, right?
Well, actually, absolutely. And so ideally, it will line up with a marketing campaign that you're already doing. It's not the kind of thing you just throw and go, oh, that's right, I've got an interview, I better just submit this. Because then it is a one-off. And you've got this great resource. Imagine if you were invited to the Pepsi Center and they said, okay, we're going to sell tickets and you are going to be our featured speaker. We're going to have a whole panel of guests, but you are one of them. And so it's a really big deal. You think, oh shoot, I forgot about it. I didn't put it on my calendar. I didn't plan ahead. Here's the day of. I better get my little booty over to the Pepsi Center. You know what? I probably should tweet this out. I'm going to be on, at the Pepsi Center today. And then you go and you do your little gig and then it's over. Well, that's a complete waste not complete waste. There will still be people that hear that. But imagine if leading up to it, I'm a featured presenter. I'm going to be on the panel with all these other people. This is where I'm going to be. Your own sphere of influence is now pretty excited because you're like, wow, you're one of the guests. You get to be on that stage. That's pretty impressive. And who are you? I haven't been paying close enough attention to you. I need to follow you more. I need to connect with you more. Oh, and by the way, now that you're top of mind, I've been thinking about, I need to make an appointment with you, or I know somebody who needs to do business with you. You create this sense of urgency, this sense of credibility for your own brand, and you haven't even spoken yet. It's just that you're going to, and you're a part of, and you're included in. And people are, the sociology says we want to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves. And now you are. And so it puts you in a different caliber, and it's pretty exciting. And so the whole leading up to, so if you've got a campaign that goes around when you're going to be on the radio, I would pick a day that ends in Y.
There you go. Yeah, sooner is better than later in many cases if you don't have things that are specific. If you are seasonally driven, you might want to think leading into the 6 weeks or so leading up to whatever season it is that you make your most money. If on the opposite side of that, if you are dead slow, when I was a magician, I mean, I could watch the paint peel from November to March. And I remember when Angel started working with the company, she said, that doesn't work for Mama. So you might want to put your interview on and build a campaign leading into your slow period and get some excitement going during that time.
Well, and here's, we think there's a couple of times in your business, you do all it, you've got a slow time where you're trying to build up all this activity and build this customer base. Come on in, Devin. And so when you're slow is when we put a lot more effort into marketing, right? Because we don't have anything else to do. So we're out there and we're marketing and we're networking and we're doing all this fun stuff. And that is a really ideal time to fill your pipeline. The second best time to fill your pipeline is when you are slamma-bamma busy.
Absolutely.
But this is when people stop their marketing because they're so busy. And so we see then you've got these peaks and valleys that end up in your business because, okay, when I'm slow, I do all this marketing. The marketing picks up and now I'm really busy, so no more marketing. So while that all fluffles around, what ends up happening then the next quarter, because it typically goes in most of our businesses in quarterly cycles, all the marketing, the stuff that we're doing now is a result of the marketing we did a quarter ago or 3 months ago, and we're seeing the results kind of bubble up. It kind of like a little snowball and it builds. And so while we're really busy taking care of everything, all that marketing stops, and so then we have another slow quarter, and we have then these peaks and valleys. But what happens to our income? Peaks and valleys. And if those peaks aren't enough to get you through the valleys, then it gets to be a real struggle in business, which is why ideally we do 4 campaigns a year. Every quarter we're doing something, even if we're slamma-bamma busy, because the last thing you want is for all that busyness to go away and you got to start all over. And it's like, and the starting it all over, when you first do it, you've got the energy and it's exciting. But after, so many quarters of that and so many years, it's kind of exhausting to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm always starting over. I'm always beginning. I'm always having to come up with something new. But if you've got quarterly campaigns that are keeping you on the tip of everybody's tongue, something new, something exciting, something fresh, not just, have you hired me now? Do you need me now? Do you need my service now? How about today? Because that gets old too. So the idea then behind the radio is, even if it doesn't come with your, if the radio doesn't come in your package, still making sure that you're doing some marketing campaigns and events and things going around it, but taking advantage and use your radio as part of your campaigns that you're doing.
Absolutely. I want to greet the people who are joining in to watch the video as we go on. And for the new people in the room, if you have any question about anything about your membership at all, don't hesitate to ask that. You guys
can be really interactive.
Absolutely. You don't have to be a quiet audience. Okay. So the next question has to do, and it's a series of questions on the questions that people ask. And, because during the interview, they're worried in many cases that we are going to ask them a question that they might not be prepared for.
Well, here's the dirty little secret to media is you're going to supply us with the questions to ask you in advance. So, and we do that for many reasons. One, so you are prepared. So you can walk in. You're not walking into a blank slate going, I have no clue where this interview is going to go. You can be comforted to know, Eric and I want you to look like a rock star.
Absolutely.
We are not there to fluff you up, to throw you under the bus, to see if we can get you. We're not looking for a spoof. We're not looking to have you, a blooper kind of thing. We actually we want to put you out to the audience as a rock star, as the expert in your industry. So these are the things that if you just woke up and you were blindfolded, you could talk about in your business. You're like, this is what I do every day. This is my expertise. I know this stuff. I've got it. And that's the confidence that we want to have on the radio. We know that being on the air, having a microphone in front of you, isn't really comfortable for most people, but I promise you we are vomit free.
Vomit free.
We haven't lost one yet.
Nope. There was that one guy that ran out of the studio.
We do have one that we have a suspicion on, but
the bigger they are,
the harder they fall.
Yeah.
But here's what ends up happening. People are so nervous about coming in, and they put it off. And they come in, they have such a wonderful experience. We make sure that you're really comfortable in the studio. It's just having a conversation with me and Eric. And before you even leave, you're going to want to schedule the next one. Happens every time.
It does. All right, let's ask the next question about questions. What kind of questions should I use? And maybe even more importantly, what kind of questions should I avoid?
All right, so one of the things we learned from Pam Atherton when she did her media training with us last week, were you at that event? Were you there, Devin? You were there at Pam Atherton's.
Yeah.
Were you there, Lisa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one of the things she talked about was this is not your business card information. I don't need to know what hours. I don't need to know your website, how long you've been in business. He used the example of the printer. Here we are. We do, full color printing, black and white, business cards. We're open 9 to 5, and here's our location, and we've been in business, for 3 years, and that's none of the stuff that we want, because we think of them as, we call them media darlings, because honey, I can get that anywhere. I've got you in front of me. I've got you as the expert guest. Think about it's telling your story. When we think about radio, Eric and I have only been in radio for 6 years. And when we first started on, of course, we're brand new, didn't realize the benefit of the media of radio. But here's what we've come to learn. One, it's very intimate. People are listening, especially talk radio. Music is on in the background. It's kind of, just a background kind of thing. It's passive listening. So when the commercials come on or the guests come on, it's usually passive listening. But talk radio is very active listening, and they're engaged, and they're one-on-one. It's them. So it's me listening to you. I'm all by myself in my car, or even I'm at my office, or I have it on at home, but I'm listening to you. And so you get to speak very specifically to your target audience. Don't worry if it's not Eric and Angel's target audience, because of all the fun stuff we get to do with the interview, post-interview. You get to create your own weather. You get to, when we first came on to KLZ, the demographic, we're like, who's listening? And are they even our audience? We get to create our own audience. It's destination radio. So people who might not listen to KLZ the rest of the day tune in to the Experience Pros radio show. And they're going to tune in to listen to your interview. Then even post, what we get to do for marketing it out to your target audience. So rather than speaking in generics, if you're ever in the market for, if you ever think about having a rental property, no, you're a property owner. You're seeing how the rates for rental rates have skyrocketed. This is the right time to be a property owner. Yet you don't want to manage that. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to take the phone calls in the middle of the night. That's what I do.
There's your next commercial.
And you get to talk to them very specifically. We think about, you're walking around, you're aching, you're hunched over your computer, you're hunched in the car driving, and you can just feel it in your shoulders. And after time and left untouched, now we've got this permanent hunch, and it affects your whole lymphatic system and your central system, and you're going to be sicker and more stressed. And so come in today and see me, and let me take care of that, and let me work it out. I'm a registered nurse. I know how the body works. And you get to speak. You get to tell your story in a way that no other medium allows you to do. And it's immediate. So like with magazines and newspapers and things like that, you've got to plan ahead of, okay, what are we going to say? But you get to, in radio, be immediate. This is what we're dealing with today, because people have the ability to pick up that phone right now and make that call or set that up in their calendar, or drive by and even visit you. They have the ability right then and there to make that change in their life. And so when we talk about the kinds of things to talk about, ideally, we're not an infomercial radio show. It's not appealing. Like, would you tune in and just listen to 2 hours of sales ads all day long? It's got to be educational or entertaining. There's got to be an element in it of what's in it for me.
And this is really what Angel and I excel at, is turning a conversation into an educational piece with always with the element of I'm giving you this information for your benefit because someday you or somebody you know might need it, right? But if you allow us, the hosts, to do the dirty deed of the sales pitch, if you will, we do it in such a gentle way that people want to come back and find more. And so it really is strategic. I tell people to avoid the Toby Keith. You know that song. I want to talk about me, 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 me. You know that the infomercial style of presentation really does drain people, and they will only put up with it for so long. That's why they put them on in the middle of the night. You can only watch so many of those before it goes. So while the show is never and never has been scripted, you do supply us with the questions. You do give us the guideline, if you will, to guide this conversation, and then trust us. We are pretty good at making that happen. All right. I'm reminded, Angel, of a conversation that we had with the lead of the SBDC in the South Centennial area that many years ago, Marshall McGilly told us that you could leverage a piece of media, and in this case, we're talking about the interview, across multiple platforms. And that's your favorite. So tell us why it's your favorite and what does it mean?
Okay, so again, when we said the radio, you know, it's not just a one-time thing. It's not a one-off. You get to actually really use this to leverage your marketing. And so when we were doing an event with the SBDC, and Marshall McGilly gave us some advice on how you take a talk. So if you're going to do a presentation and do a talk, and that's kind of what your radio interview is. It's a presentation or a talk, and you're the expert in the room. You can actually leverage that. So if you created 5 ways to get out of your own way, I don't know, something along, you know, something for business coaching and leadership, and you had kind of 5 tips, and I know you talk a lot about different financial pieces to it, Lisa, but you've got 1,000 topics I think you could pull from. But if you could narrow it down for a marketing campaign, and we had one, and let's just say it was 5 tips for improving your bottom line, 5 tips for more revenue. 5 tips for more revenue. Let's say that.
Oops, I like it.
Okay, so you're going to come on, and we're going to talk about 5 tips for more revenue on the radio. You're going to be marketing that before 5 tips for more revenue, and it's going to have a fun little, maybe a fun little meme that goes with it, and you know, somebody pulling out their hair because I work all the time, but I just don't make enough money.
Create the meme.
So you're creating a meme, and you've got some social media campaigns that's going on before that. You get to put it in your email signature and in your newsletters beforehand, or even on your voicemail. Make sure you tune in on Thursday, July 24th. I'm going to be on the radio. If you have a storefront, you can make posters. You could, as you're out networking, you know, I always think, okay, what do I say when I'm out networking, and how do I use networking to tell people what I'm doing? I'm going to be on the air, 5 tips for how to get better revenue. And so you're promoting it. Well, that's interesting. I need more revenue. And so you're promoting it all the way in, you know, 5 ways to make more money, you know, being a landowner, why this is the right time to be to buy rental property, and 5 ways to, I don't know, keep from getting sick or to be healthier, or what you can do at work to, you know, exercises you can do while you're at work to keep your spine up, or, you know, think about some fun things that you can do to offer. So now we've got the leading into, so you've got some memes, you've got some social media, you might have some postcards, you might have some, your voicemail, your email signature, all this fun stuff that's marketing it. You're doing the radio interview, and while you're on the air, you said, today I'm going to talk about 5 tips. But there's actually 10. And I've got the full PDF is on my website, or you can download it here on my social media page, or here's where you can get, or call me or email me for the free white paper, and you can have the full list of 10. I'm only going to be able to share 5 today because it's a little interview, but it's a little teaser, because guess what? There's more. And with that more, now you've got a way that brings them into your sales funnel or your pipeline, right? And we have a sales process, and whatever that first step is in your sales process, you know, is it an email? Is it a follow-up? Is it a phone call? Can you get them to, like you on Facebook? Different ways that are bringing them now into your sphere a little closer than they were before. And so You know, use it then as the PDF afterwards. Send them to your website. Then after the interview, oh, did you miss it? That's okay, because here is the here's the link where you can go and watch me. I'm here at this time, and here's the YouTube link, or here's the video, because it's permanently on the internet now. We post the videos up to like 300 different RSS feeds. It's all over the internet. You can go and watch the whole show. I'm at 1 minute 47 seconds. You can grab then. We'll send you the audio. It's included in your membership package. We'll send you an edited audio, which is just your own little piece. And we've seen people do some really creative stuff with that. Because it's just the audio, you can actually put it like a static picture.
You can create your own YouTube video.
Yes, with your logo, fun pictures of you. You on site. If you've got some pictures of you working with clients, you could do like a little photo montage with this audio running over it, and you can put it on your own YouTube channel.
Another one of the cool things about the interview is with every new question that we ask you and your subsequent answer to that question, you get editable slices that you can take your audio file, slice it up into 1 minute, whatever it takes you for, however long it takes you to answer. And now there's 6 new pieces of collateral that you can put out to YouTube, to
little 1 minute
LinkedIn,
videos,
to Twitter.
You can use them for little tweets and link it to, and here's my little tip. Here's a little, you can even break it out into individual blog posts. So each one of those tips can be an individual blog post, an individual tweet, an individual, here's just a little, here's the tip of the day, and you've got 5 of them. Then you can segment it out and break it down, and so you can do a lot with it. I mean, yes, so the radio and the listenership in and of itself is pretty fabulous. And usually when people are in the studio, they get phone calls and responses from just being in the studio. But the old school of being on the radio, that's it. If you missed it, it was gone. Or you didn't even know for sure what time you were going to be on. A lot of times in media, they're like, I'm going to have you on sometime in this next hour. Even if you go and do, something with the news, they come out and they'll do a videotape of you and they say, it's going to be on sometime. Oh, wait, you got bumped. It'll be on sometime the next week. Oh, wait, you got bumped. It'll be on. With us, it's guaranteed. You're a sure thing. You get a special time slot. Share figures that all out and coordinates that with you. So pretty much within 5 minutes, a 5-minute range of what time people can tune in and listen and grab you on the air. So again, because we want you to look good, right? We're not gonna throw you under the bus. We're not gonna do anything negative.
How long do you recommend our answers to be, to try and keep them down to? Because I know any of us could answer in a 10-minute answer for any one question.
Well, you go into the interview knowing that you've supplied us 4 to 6 questions, and it's an 8-minute interview. So if you do the math on that, anywhere from 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes per question is probably the typical.
And here's the thing too, is we don't have to get to all the questions.
We don't.
If you've got a lot and we cover it and you need to expand on the one and we want to take that time, especially at the gold level, you get 3 interviews. So it's not like that's your only chance to be on the radio. And I would much rather than try and cram a lot in, and feel like, okay, I've got to give everything that I do in this little piece. Less is more. It's easier for people to digest, a few ideas versus everything. And then I've got more questions for you. I'm going to call you. And so we tease it up when it's okay that we don't give them too much. And so rather than talk really fast, and I do talk really fast when I get all excited.
So teaser answers.
Yeah. Let's give them some information, but
we don't wanting more.
Let's do that. Yeah. Rather than being, okay, and now I do this, and don't know. They're like, yeah, you lost me.
All right. So in the answer to that, I think we just gave you like 100 different places and ways that you could use your interview and leverage your interview leading up to it. Tell people, create those memes, the voicemail, the email signature. By the way, don't underscore.
Make it a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about who you know and who you're out networking with and other business owners and what you hear.
Are they on the radio?
I mean, it is, don't take it for granted just because we make it really easy for our members. Like, you don't have to tell that secret to anybody else.
No, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I know it. I was selected. I was chosen. I was invited. They personally requested me. I'll back you up on that.
Absolutely.
All day long.
The other thing you can do to take that one step further is once you have the YouTube piece of it, put that in your email after the fact.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely. You can, that again, now you're thinking in the right direction. We couldn't possibly cover all the different ways you could do it, though I will cap it with this. We're talking about your radio interview. Before we were doing radio and while we started doing radio, we were blogging, and we blogged every day for a long time. We took advantage of the very same concept here. We took all of our blog posts, categorized them into groups, and then assembled them into chapters, and then bound them into a book. And that book is available online. It's called Leading the Revolution. But it's a summary of the first couple of years of blog posts that Angel and I ever wrote. So, again, repurpose, reuse, recycle. It's really, really good for your business.
Yes, good for the earth. It's good for business.
There you go. All right. I want to talk quickly. We got about 12 minutes left here. I want to talk quickly about what are the steps leading up to our interview. We addressed that in general terms, but we have a 7-step process of leading up to the interview, much along the terms of leading up to any campaign, using the interview as your campaign piece. What are those 7 steps that people should put out, and what's the timelines associated with them?
Okay, so I typically, because I like to work in 13-week campaigns, and I just think that for me and quarterly and for business, I try to work that way. So if we think of the radio in the middle of that 13-week campaign, 5, 6, 7 weeks in. So you've got several weeks in advance. So 3 to 5 weeks in advance, start, with the save the date, and I'm going to be on the radio, and here's where I'm going to be. And you can do that in your newsletters, do that in your email signature, your voicemail signature. You can create a Facebook event for it, invite your friends and family like it was a party, and do that just kind of an umbrella campaign announcement where you're kind of saturating your market. So if you're in an association and they allow you to post things in their newsletter or things like that, any association you've paid in to be a member of, you get to let them know, look, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm a part of. Some memberships are good at promoting that stuff. Most of them aren't. Marketing is just not intuitive for most people, and it wasn't for me either. And I used to think I had to have a degree in marketing in order to be any good at it. But relationship marketing is where I found I really shine. And I think that all of us do, because it's just talking and it's sharing, it's having a conversation and adding value to people and not sucking the life out of them when you talk to them. So 3 to 4 weeks out as you're promoting it, this is where I'm going to be once you know what your topic is and what your date is. And and if you, a lot of times when Cher gets the request interview from you, we'll try to book you 2 to 3 weeks out. If you want more time, just let us know. We're happy to give you more time. But usually when you do supply that interview request at the member interview, we try to get you in because we figure you're kind of hot and antsy. So, but if you want more time, we can always give you more time. But it does take about 2 to 3 weeks to get you on the calendar once you submit your interview request. So then a couple weeks into it, a little confirmation, a little reminder. You can, if you've got your top list of customers or vendors or power partners, somebody you're trying to connect to. We think about, sales leads go cold, right? Or you're kind of off of somebody's radar for a while, trying to figure out, how do I reconnect with them? What do I say to them? They were in my pipeline, but now they're not. Or here's somebody I really want to, have a power partner with, or a great vendor relationship with. I would do personal, little one-off emails, not your newsletter, one-off emails or phone calls, and say, hey, I just want you to know I'm doing this talk on the radio. 5 ways to do this, and it's these extra little tips. And I think you'd really be interested. I just thought of you, thought you would love it. This is what I'm on. And it's just it's a reason to reconnect. It's a reason to touch base with somebody. And if not you, people in your office too can make these connections for you. But at the end of the day, it isn't about the radio interview. It is about bringing people through your sales process. And so we disguise a lot of salesy stuff as fun campaigns, fun marketing campaigns. But we know at the very bottom of it, I don't care if anybody listens to you on the radio. Like, that's not really the goal. The goal at the end of all of this is to get more people to go, oh, I need to hire you. I want to do business with you. I know somebody who should be doing business with you. I want to give your number to somebody. I know somebody who needs you. And so we're putting your brand in front of them in a way that is exciting and trustworthy and gives you the credibility and the expertise that people can then fill in the gaps for themselves. And by the multiple touches, and this is why we do the 13-week campaigns, by keeping you, it's kind of like saturating it, but not in a way that's buy from me now, buy from me now, buy from me now, but look at this fun thing we're doing. These are the tips I'm giving you. Look at this great stuff that's going on. And it creates that enthusiasm for your brand so that, and every time you talk to them, and you don't have to take that conversation and say, oh, now that I've got you, I know you've been thinking about, and should I make that appointment? Like, I don't pull the rug out from under people. I let them come to that natural conclusion. And by connecting with them and reminding them and keeping in front of them, they get there. And they get there in such a way that feels so authentic and so genuine and so fun that then they want to tell others about you. And you create that word of mouth marketing in a very strategic way. Not just, okay, I hope, but it's very strategic.
You know, if we buy into the premise that people do business with people that they know, like, and trust, and we do, our friend Bob Berg is the one who coined that phrase, and we agree with him 100%, then really the strategy, the art, if you will, is to get people to know, like, and trust you, right? And that rarely happens with, on a scale of 1 to 10, how close are we to closing this transaction for me? So we try to keep the sales pitch out, keep the relationship high, and as we do, we want you to be the one that they think of when they have that need, whatever need you satisfy, right? And so the radio really is just one facet of the tool. The networking is just another facet of the tool. These trainings, another facet of the tool. The social media, another facet of the tool. I've been called it before. We're a tool. All right.
Wait, you said I've been called it, and you
Yes,
said
yes.
me.
Thank you for getting the grammar issue.
For that, so,
Yeah.
yes.
I read that too. So.
Yeah. All right.
Drag Angel in there.
All right.
But just, I guess the big thing is, don't wait until the day of or the day before to announce it. Like, use this and take advantage of it. And I always, think of 7 to 10 channels of where can I share this, and not, and you can say Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook are 3, but thinking even outside of that, your email signature, your voicemail, postcards, blogging, your trade associations that you're involved with, all of that. Think about 7 to 10 different ways that you're promoting it leading up to, and then even post radio interview.
All right. One last time, we got about 5 minutes before we wrap this up, but we want to offer an opportunity for questions from our viewers. If you've got questions, don't hesitate to email me at eric@experiencepros.com, or you can catch me on Facebook. Happy to help in any regard there. How do you make money with your interview? I mean, that's kind of an interesting, provocative topic. Well, again, you are that guest expert. When you come on to the show and you're giving your interview, and maybe you do divide it up into segments of 1.5 minute, 2.5 minute videos. By the way, anytime you want to do an expert type of video, in this day and age, 2 minutes is a long time for one of those videos. I remember when I first did my very first ever promo video for myself as a magician. The year was 1996, and the video was 9 minutes long. Don't do that. So maybe you put that out there, and you've got this. It provides a tease to what else you can do. So you say, link if you'd like more, link here, or I wrote a whole book about it, or I give seminars and I talk about these things. You could use come on in and bring. I heard your interview. You tell us I heard your interview on the Experience Bros radio show, and we'll give you a massage or something. Whatever. You get the idea of leveraging that into generating business. You can certainly do that. Landing pages on your website are fantastic. If you don't have a web designer, we have many of them in the Extreme Customer Service Directory, all of whom have been vetted and approved by us. We trust them. We work with them in many cases, and they can help you as well. And finally, how to get invited to do more by television, radio, and print producers. Listen, you establish your credibility by being on major market media. Again, it is a tool, but it's also a credibility factor. And if you provide information to the media outlets, and every media outlet has one. There's a producer at KNUS, and there's a producer at KLZ, and there's a producer at all the other networks, including 9 News and Channel 7 News and the WB and all of it. They've all got it. And so if you go to their websites and look for who is the producer, who is the general manager or whatnot, they can direct your email and say, listen, I would like to be considered as an expert if ever you have the need for the topic that I talk about. I'd be happy to come in and provide a guest expert cross-reference voice, if you will. Think about it. Every time a plane crashes, and God forbid that's not going to happen with your situation, but you've got the guy who comes on and he's the NTSB expert at talking about plane crashes. And why not anytime and be topical. If you see something come across the news headlines and it's within your bailiwick of knowledge, drop a note to the producer and said, would be happy to come on and talk a little bit about this at any time. Similarly, you can do the same with us. If there's a topical thing happening in business today and it's in your wheelhouse, drop us a note. Would you like a little counterpoint to this? Be the color annotator, if you will, to the to the things that are happening in the news today. You can do that. You can establish that. The best place to find out what's happening faster than the news outlets, Twitter, right? Twitter is the best place. Search your hashtags. If you don't use a tool like Hootsuite, what a great tool that is for finding. Hashtags are simply a way of taking the big grand river and separating it out into streams that are easier for you to process. And you can find what's happening in the news. Watch the trending, both on Facebook and on Twitter. Those are available as well. And from time to time, just remind them that you're still here and you're still available. And in many ways, that's the way you can get additional media for free. Consider yourself the expert. All right, I want to open it up to questions here in the room. Anybody have any questions that we have not covered and or would has been bothering you and would like to know? Help any way we'd like.
So right? Yeah, seriously. I know that there are different platforms where you can post on one place and it'll post it in several different social media. Which ones do you recommend? Kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, but so there's a couple schools of thought. It's very good time management to do one post and have it go across multiple medias.
However,
what I recommend is that you don't do that.
Okay.
And here's why. A couple reasons. One, they're different forms of media. They're different platforms, and so you treat them differently.
Mm-hmm.
On Twitter, of course, you only want the 140 characters. You want some hashtags in there. Something small, really short and sweet,
Mm-hmm.
and put a little picture. On Instagram, it's all about the picture and just hashtags. So you don't need to put all the other information on there. on social media, I think it's a little bit more of a conversation and more.
About what the picture state, like
Yeah.
he's trying to.
Yeah, so rather than have it just like go all at once and kind of blast it out. And here's the other thing too, is if you wanted people to follow you on different platforms, or people follow you differently because they want to receive the information differently.
Yeah.
And so if it's the exact same information across all the platforms, then they recognize, okay, yeah, you just blasted this out. You're not really here.
Yeah.
The other thing with always pre-scheduling all of your stuff is all you're doing is pushing out your information. You're not actually there engaging. And so the value of social media is the engagement, that you're looking at other people's stuff, you're seeing what other people are posting, you're commenting, you're sharing other people's things. Yeah, you want to give them stuff to share about you too, but they won't share if you don't share. So if all you're doing is being the poster and you're not actually physically there. There was somebody who every hour on the hour, something came out from this person. They were never online. They never commented. They never came back. So even if you commented on their stuff, there was no engagement back and forth. So there was, we talk about push versus pull and how the economy these days and with the way consumers are shopping, I want to be able to go on my computer, on my phone when I want to and get the information that I'm looking for, not necessarily be pushed out just from people. And so social media allows us to actually interact with business owners and celebrities and personalities and the actual social media marketing person at all of these different outlets. And it isn't so much about just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
So long answer, I would treat them all individually. And sometimes you do want to pre-schedule some stuff and there's some benefit, but don't have that be the only interaction that you have. Have somebody actively engaged with your social media. And if you don't want to do it, we've got a couple of incredible gals
I know, I love
that
them.
take that.
That's what they do for me. So I was just wondering, I'm like, but they do Facebook.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, should I do Twitter? Should I do Instagram?
Well,
Have accounts.
you have to figure out which way. We've recently, for the last year, been using our Twitter account far more, and recently in the last month or two, I've been using our Instagram account every day, just one post a day or two. I can't get to too many, but again, it's how much time do you want to put into it. Time management is a big thing, but as Angel said, be careful of piggybacking on messages because you have different audiences out there. Finally, we're going to close with a question from Stan. He says, please talk about expert interviews versus the interview in the package that comes with your membership in the red level and the gold level, and how often they can be done.
Okay, so with your package, if you are a red level member, you get 1 business feature radio, and with the gold level, you get 3 business feature radio interviews. So what that allows is it can be, those ones are, because we know you guys want to talk about your business. You want to say the business card kind of stuff. And so you've bought one. You have that ability to do that with those interviews. You get 3 with the gold and 1 with the red.
And that's what we've been talking about in this whole training.
However, if you do simply a guest expert, which means you are the 5 tips and the here's something good and here's
it's not about your business.
Yeah, it's not about your business. It's actually something like if you were going to get up and do a TED Talk kind of thing and do a presentation and it wasn't at your leads group, which your leads group, you want to tell them what you do and how they can hire you. And this is why me? Why you are hiring me? This isn't so much about why you're hiring you, but how to just be a better person or how to take care of your house or how to be a better business person and how to be healthier. Like, it doesn't matter who hears it. It's not about hiring you. I don't count those against your package because I need lots of those. That's what people tune into the radio to hear is expert advice and all this fun stuff that they can learn and they're taking notes. And but at the end of it, I will say, Lisa was our guest, Bobby Sue was our guest. Here's how people get in touch with you. And of course, if you've got then go here for the tips and here's the blog and here's the extra tips. If it is all expert advice and business topic tips, that does not count against, and you can do several of those a year. I mean, I've got people that call in. Pamela Atherton is one of those. You know, she's always just, here's advice. It isn't, this is how I train my people. This is how long I've been in business. This is why you should hire me. In fact, it's very little about Pam Atherton. It is all advice. And so that's a guest expert. If you do those don't count against you. But if it, like for Stan, you know, he came in and we did a workshop on, or a talk about his workshop on bullying prevention, and it was about specifically his workshop.
Right.
So that would be a business feature about for ATA Family Martial Arts, because we want people to go to his workshop. You know, if we're talking very specifically about legacy properties management and the things that you do and why you do and how you do, that would be a business feature. But if you just came in and said, here's why you should buy and be a, you know, take advantage of this hot market, that would be a
Here's how
guest.
you deal with this kind of situation.
Yes,
There you
yes,
How do you deal with this for a furnace?
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
When you're sore at the end of the day, how do you deal with it?
How do you deal with that? Yeah, guest expert, those do not count against your package.
All right. Stan, thanks for the question.
Help you.
We appreciate that. We are going to go ahead and shut this down. It is Fan Braggin Friday, and so we invite you, all of you, to truly put your marketing package on steroids, if you will, by calling in to 855-FAN-BRAG from 10 to noon here in the Mountain Time Zone, and let us know who's getting it right in business. What this does for you is, first of all, it tells people that you're nice enough to talk about somebody else. And finally, we believe that it's worth talking about you as well. So we give you free marketing on the air. And trust me, there is a value to that. And so if you do it consistently, those who do have seen tremendous results for their business. Make it a part of your every Friday schedule. Okay? Thanks for listening. Thanks for participating. Thank you guys for being here. And we'll see you on the air.